The term living off the land is often used in cybersecurity to describe how attackers exploit pre-existing and often long-standing vulnerabilities. One of the best examples of living off the land is exploiting vulnerabilities in open source software. Let's talk to an expert about how big a problem this is and what we can do about it.
Secure Ninja.
Hi everyone, it's Andrew from SecureNinjaTV again, and we're at the Rocky Mountains Cyberspace Symposium 2024 in Colorado Springs. Now, I've just listened to a very interesting presentation from Dr. Ben Amaba. Thanks very much for that presentation, Dr. Ben. It was very interesting. You are a fellow in Systems and Industrial Engineering, and you also work for Sonatype, and that company is involved in software development lifecycle and securing code.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
It was a very interesting presentation. Now, when I was new to cybersecurity training, I always thought that open source software is going to be very vulnerable and it wouldn't be best practice. But in fact, using open source software and open source libraries is actually considered best practice. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Excellent question, Andrew, and thank you for asking. Actually, open source software penetrated or used one of the best practices. It's reuse. Open source software has tremendous benefits, not only for its scalability, we actually cooperate on building code, but it's the ability for two people to look at that code. And if we can reuse that, you see two factors out there. You see a productivity improvement. It could be between 3.5 to 5 times more efficient, but more so an economic benefit. When you actually look at open source software and what we did as a community, it actually saved us close to $4.5 billion because we were able to collaborate, share, test, examine, and modify much quicker than before. So the two factors open source software had as a benefit was time and productivity and economics.
Excellent. Well, that is very interesting and absolutely makes sense. There is so much open source software and open source libraries out there, and there are vulnerabilities, both accidental, bad coding, or just attackers becoming better at their job, but also state actors perhaps maliciously putting vulnerabilities in the software. How big of a problem is there out there? How many malicious pieces of software, just vulnerable pieces of software or code are there?
Great question. In fact, if we understand the impact, we get more attention to that vulnerability as well as malware. Between 2019 and 2023, there's been over 245,000 malicious packages. That is twice as much as all the years prior accumulated, and it's growing at 742%. So we're not only looking at the 245,000, today it has grown to 315,000 malicious applications out there.
Amazing. So one of the other very interesting things you mentioned in your presentation was AI, artificial intelligence, and it's a double-edged sword. It can help and it can hurt us. Do you want to explain that a little bit, please?
Wonderful question. I think it is a double-edged sword. AI today is the next vulnerable database. With PI and NPM, a lot of vulnerabilities are being built into that repository. So although we're enthusiastic about AI and machine learning, those same vulnerabilities are occurring in artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that's a danger in itself. But because of the massive growth in cybersecurity and vulnerabilities, we've got to also use AI for good, meaning understanding the patterns and recognize those patterns, whether they're deterministic or stochastic in nature, meaning the unpredictable ones. Now, what's interesting about this, AI could be used because 96% of the vulnerabilities that are downloaded could be avoided if the individual or institution or organization recognize that through things like machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, what really concerns me when I think about AI is we're using all these open source packages, and then people are using those packages on maybe proprietary or top secret data to do some data mining, and it could be beaconing out some very interesting information to a command and control center, probably in a different country, and that's going to be very hard to monitor. So that's a big possibility. So what should we be doing? We have to use open source software. We should be using open source software. What are some of the best practices?
Great question. I think 3 best practices, and going down to the detail. 1, understanding the process, but really understanding the detail. The 3 basic principles, especially in engineering design, are the following. It's prevention, isolation and remediation. The only way you can do that is to understand things like typo squatting, dependency diagrams, or namespace confusion. In the detail in the process, that's the only way we're going to get better. And by the way, continuous monitoring and continuous improvement can never stop. Software ages like milk, not like wine.
Excellent. Continuous improvement, continuous monitoring, another concept we teach all the time. Dr. Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again on SecureNinjaTV.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe and to like, because you never know where we're going to be next. I'm Andrew Howard from SecureNinjaTV. We'll talk to you again soon.